So currently, one type of CAR T cell therapy, ide-cel, is approved for commercial purpose, and a second type is expected before end of the year. And so it's very critical to select patients and have them have access to this incredibly effective treatment. And I say incredibly effective because in both the studies, even with prior 6 lines of treatment, the response rates are anywhere from 80 to 95%, with almost half of the patients or greater getting complete response and MRD negativity. And so we have to allow patients to have access to it. The part of the eligibility and selection would depend on the approval itself. And the current approval for CAR T cells in patients with 4 or greater lines of treatment. So that, by definition, becomes a necessary requirement for patients to go on this therapy. And they should have been also exposed to proteasome inhibitor, immunomodulatory drug, and also to anti-CD38 monoclonal antibody. But after meeting these basic requirements, I think we have a greater ability to treat these patients. So certain characteristics that we look for in patients with who undergo transplant, autologous transplant, we may not need exactly the same for these patient populations. Patients should have a progressive disease, but there is no age limit. I think patients above age of 75 and up to 80 have been treated successfully and safely. In patients above 75, I would probably assess them individually to make sure they are in a otherwise good shape. Similarly, patients should be willing to stick to the requirements of CAR T cell program. The frequent follow-up, close follow-up. When we do it in outpatient setting, they may need to come every day, but as long as they meet those requirements, they should be considered for study. Now, the cardiorespiratory and other requirements are also relaxed compared to transplant. We do not stick to a fixed, say, ejection fraction. As long as they were well-managed, compensated cardiorespiratory comorbidities, patients should be considered acceptable. Similarly, for renal function, creatinine clearance of, say, 30 are good patients to be considered. Immune status is important, but irrespective of any other immune dysfunction, patients can be considered for CAR T as long as they are not on any higher dose immunoinhibitory treatment. In general, patients should not have an acute active viral infection because cytokine release syndrome might affect it. And then patients, of course, should not have hypersensitivity of any of the components. Anyone with any prior exposure to treatments, including BCMA-targeted treatments such as belantamab, should be considered candidate for BCMA-targeting CAR T cell therapy such as ide-cel, and similar the product, the other one being cilta-cel. We have to keep in mind that patients could be on anticoagulation, but should not, they can be, but should not have active bleeding. And their bone marrow function is good enough to collect cells to produce CAR T cells, but there is no prerequisite of certain required baseline blood counts. So I would not put a very minimal ANC requirements, for example, or platelet requirements, maybe more than 1,000 ANC or more than 500, but that could be flexible as long as we are able to produce CAR T cell in this patient population. So primary differences, unlike autologous transplant, we can take our older patient population, and we can also consider patient with compensated cardiorespiratory function without having specific checkpoints or restrictions there. And these patients do very well. The tumor burden is an important component. So in the commercial component, we might try to decrease the tumor burden while the T cells are being produced. So consideration of an appropriate bridging therapy is acceptable. In fact, might be beneficial because decreasing the tumor burden may decrease the severity of CRS and the toxicity. So this is the general patient population we should be considering. patient can get benefit, a larger patient population can get benefit from CAR T cell therapy.